right, stop what you're doing, cause I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to.
Hey, yo, listen to Mikey Barxxx
Not the aftertaste
on the Wine Night Podcast.
So, we both work in I like to call them service roles, civil service roles, things like that. Not limited to just like police officer. Typically that's how we define civil service. But I like to say service roles, anything that's meant to quote unquote help people, right?
Right.
Specifically, we're more involved with like education and things like that. And my rant for today is I would like for people, teachers, advisors, I would just like for this whole idea that we can help people in these roles to go away. Like stop selling that dream. And there's like a few like bullet points. First off, stop telling people of color to go into careers to help people of color, when people of color are not the reason why people of color need help.
Oh, I thought this was a short episode.
And that's why I was like, I really think you move this to the law because it's gonna.
Oh man, okay, let's go then. Let's do it.
It's like, so don't tell me like, oh, go work in inner city public schools and help inner city people of color, students of color, through those issues, when I'm not the reason that they've been redlined. I'm not the reason why they have, bad textbooks or, mean teachers that are just racially insensitive or just assholes, for lack of a better term. That's not my fault. And then also, what can I do for them? The issue is out of my, and that's why I also get to that point of stop telling people that you're the helper. And I think it also gets to my second point about like, how do you define help? Are you the help? Because help for a privileged person and help for a marginalized person is completely different, right? Help for a privileged person is just like, I helped you pick a major. That's what they need, right? They need someone to help them, like, find their way through campus or, find which sport did you want to play in high school, whatever the case may be, right? What marginalized people need is for someone to figure out who's writing all the racist graffiti on campuses. What they need is for someone to get the campus police to stop disproportionately breaking up the Black students' parties or Black student events and things like that, and leaving the white fraternities and sororities to just do whatever the fuck they want on their houses and their lawns and stuff like that. What we need is houses and spaces for people of color so that they can congregate on their own, right? So for me, it's like, stop telling us that we can help. Well, we're not really helping. We're just putting Band-Aids on problems. The help happens at the political level. Help happens with law, people who are actually decision makers and stuff like that. But we're never pushed to do that. We're never taught to do that. We're never taught to become CEOs. We're taught to go to HR so we can help. No, the problem is the fucking homophobic CEO at the top. HR is just helping you get through. I'm sorry that this is happening, but here are your resources. Stop telling us to do that. That's not our problem to fix. Maybe
No, and I think it's tough because it's like, all right, well, if we don't go into those roles, then those same people are gonna go into those roles, right? Like the racist person will walk in there and they'll be the ones that are serving our people, and that is violent inherently within itself, right? So it's like, if we don't do it, then who will do it? But then we're stuck in these roles, and like you said, we don't think about going and being, well, no, I would say there's probably a shift now. There's a lot of like Black entrepreneurism. You'll see, I've seen a huge shift towards it within the last couple of years.
What, can I say something to that point? Please don't forget your thought.
No, wait, because I'm gonna forget it.
All right, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, like, I think it's like a catch-22. If we don't, who will? But then when we do, they move, they get to move up in ranks and become, these big, high-powered people. And then we're stuck trying to figure everything out. And so I think overall, it's just a tough thing. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's and to that point right there, it's like you're right because if I don't work as the teacher, then my students don't see black teachers. You know what I mean? Or if I don't work as the nurse, then who's actually in the hospital giving that black woman in labor help? You know what I mean? So it's like one thing we just need more. We need more of us in those roles, and we need to make sure that we have more access. But again, access is determined at the political level. I mean, the decision makers, the lawmakers, things like that.
Mhm.
Um, to go back to what you were saying, like we're starting to see more black people with or people of color with the entrepreneurial spirit, but that's not happening in the college setting and stuff like that. That's happening because we go on our phones and we're educating each other, right? So that's what I'm getting at. It's like we're realizing, oh, we're starting to catch up on our own. Like, oh, okay, we've been getting funneled into the wrong places. We've been getting funneled into the wrong majors. We've been getting, I can't think of the word right now when you make student athletes go into specific majors just because they get
A business major and they got a business bone in their body.
even that liberal arts. The fuck is they supposed to do? The niggas is not going to get PhDs, bro. Why are you making them study liberal? Not to say that they can't, but nothing about them has made them say that they're going to go into academia. So why are you funneling them into something that's only academic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you even know about these, and it also is being real with people, like people of color. If someone's coming from a lower SES status, don't tell them to go into a role and not explain to them like, hey, your outlook as far as how much you make, does that line up with why you're here? If you're here to provide for your family and to build generational wealth and to potentially make a certain amount of money, don't tell that person to go into like, well, go into like social work or something. Not to say that those are not needed professions, but the way the system is set up right now, you're not going to get a very good return on your investment immediately or for a while.
But what I will say is that I think people of color, especially Black people, are taught to be more empathetic and taught to be more caring and taught to think of your neighbor. Like, even if you think of raising kids and they say it takes a village, right? Like, it takes your neighborhood, like everybody in the neighborhood, at least back when I was younger, they was watching out for you, they was your other aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpa. Like, everybody was taught to take care of each other, because if we don't, again, who's going to do that? And so I think that it has, I don't want to say warped our sense of like what we should do, but it definitely, I think, has an effect on how people have seen themselves, like in the future, career wise, like how they feel, how they measure success, like how far they think they can go. You know what I mean? I was watching this one video and this boy was talking about how he wanted to help people. So he wanted to be, I think, like a teacher or something of that nature. And the older Black man in the video said like, oh, but if you're president, then you get to help everybody. And he just kind of like stopped the little boy, and you could tell he was very puzzled and confused. And so he was like, I never thought of that before. And the man said like, nobody told you can ever be president. And he was just like, no.
Yeah.
But honestly, like I know the top like 3 answers for Black people, and when they think of success, it's like be a doctor, be a lawyer, be an engineer. Be a doctor, be a lawyer, be an engineer. And so we don't think of all these other jobs that would put us in positions to be able to help people that also align with our interests. Because like not everybody wants to be a doctor, not everybody wants to be an engineer or a lawyer. Shit, not everybody want to be a teacher and all these other things, but we don't know a lot of the possibilities that come with a lot of the things that we care about. And I don't think that's any detriment to ourselves. I think it just kind of is how we've always had to take care of ourselves, and we continue to take care of ourselves for our own survival. Because again, if somebody who's racist steps into that, nobody's getting taken care of now.
That's a fact. But yeah, that's it. Like I said, I really would appreciate it if people would stop selling that dream, especially if you're gonna bring us on your campus or your school to fit your quota. Make sure that you actually know who you're bringing and how to support them, and make sure you take care of them.
That's big facts, sir. Big facts. I'm here for it.
Yeah, you know how I always equate it. It's like a white person adopting a Black kid, and you don't know how to moisturize their skin, you don't know how to comb their hair.
Cut it out right now.
That's essentially what it is when they bring Black kids to a fucking white school. Well, you brought them here. Well, you recruited them, but can you retain them? You know what I mean?
I don't really care. Again, it kind of goes back into that thing I was talking about with the NFL. It's like we're going to start to realize, right? And hopefully we start to recognize that it's the money that they are offering is not worth our soul in terms of that they just want us to perform. And I don't think that that is enough for all that we have sacrificed and continue to sacrifice for this country in the name of this country and in the name of, you know, being a citizen here. Or even if they're not a citizen here, there's still sacrifices that everybody has made in order, you know, for the sake of this country. And I just think, and I hope that we get to a point where we say, like, your blood money is not enough. You know what I mean? Like, you won't silence me just because you know, you pay me a lot of money, or you won't silence me because you don't pay me a lot of money. Like, I'm still worth, you know, those things, but we have to get ourselves to that point, and we also have to get, you know, the people in positions of power to understand that we're not just bodies for you to discard when you're done with. So
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Ooh, Chile, you got kind of deep.